Okay, welcome back to the Success, Money, and Marriage podcast. I'm Steve Siebold.
And I'm Dawn Siebold.
And today we're going to talk about something very important as a couple when you're building a business and making money, and that's called the time value of money. Very important, right?
Very important.
This is really key. So there's three things we talk about in the How Money Works book. I showed this to you, I think last week or the week before, the How Money Works book. If you're watching this, if you're not, it's called if you're listening to this on the podcast, it's called How Money Works, Stop Being a Sucker. Written by myself and Tom Matthews, who's a 40-year Wall Street veteran. And in that book, we talked about this concept called the time value of money. Mm-hmm. And basically, there's three rules with the time value of money and when it comes to saving. And number one is start now.
Yeah, I wish we had learned that a long time ago.
Yeah, they were like 19, right?
Yeah, I know. I want to say before we get into this, for those of you who Steve offered that book last time, we're not offering it this time. No, I'm kidding. When I first read the manuscript for the book, I really was wondering why you didn't write this book when we were in our 20s.
Yeah.
Because if we'd have written this in our 20s, we would have made a lot better decisions.
I didn't know about money.
Why'd you wait till we were in our 50s?
Yeah, it took me some time.
Right.
It took me some time. But the first thing really is you didn't say anything about my jacket.
Well, quite a different look from the last one you had.
I'm stepping it up a little bit this episode.
Why did you get turned down from the girls at the singles bar last week?
There are no singles bars. Those singles, they don't exist. Remember we talked about this?
We did.
They're just bars.
I know. Got it.
Yeah, and I haven't been out to one.
So now you're trying
for at least 2 days.
So you're trying a new look. You're like, this is my I look smart look.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe it is. I don't know.
All right.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll test it.
Yeah,
see
maybe
what
it
happens.
is. We'll see.
See what happens.
Maybe I'll get some emails from, people listening. Okay, so time value of money. The first thing is start saving now.
Right.
As we said, that's the first rule. The old saying in the investing world is, the savings world, investing world is, the best time to start saving and investing, yesterday. Second best time. Today. And so you've got to capitalize on the time that and we talked about compound interest, of course, in the last episode, and that's all about time. It's just the money needs time to grow. It needs time to go out in the marketplace, so to speak, and collect more money for you. It's like a 24/7 employee that never sleeps, never takes a vacation, never takes a break, just goes out and works for you all the time. Mm-hmm. And so, but you need time to do that. That's why the time and money are so interconnected. So start now. That's number one. Save regularly is number two.
Right. Can we just stay on number one for a minute? Because I think the biggest problem that we had, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs have this, is when they say start now, you're starting to build your business. We started in our 20s. And when people said start now, we're like, well, what do we start with? Because all of the money that we were making was either going to bills or starting our business. And so I think that one of the key things people need to know is you've got to pay yourself first.
Yep.
And we heard that in our 20s, pay yourself first.
Right.
And I think the way we interpreted, or at least for me, was reinvest in your business. Because that's what all the extra money.
Spend on yourself first.
Well, that might have been the first problem. That might have been the first problem.
How about a jet ski?
Yeah,
How about a jet ski? Because we have so much money. We need a jet ski. Yeah.
But no, I mean seriously, I think everyone. You've always heard invest in yourself first. And what we did was put it back into our business, which was smart when we enjoyed doing that. But there's a completely another way that you need to start paying yourself first for retirement, paying yourself first for your savings fund and an emergency fund. So I think don't get too confused when people say pay yourself first, that you think because you're investing back in your business that you've started savings. That's not the key. You're investing in your business. Savings completely different.
Totally true. And investing is totally different. It really is. And I remember hearing that, way back like in the 80s when we first started our first business. Mm-hmm. And I think I was teaching tennis, and you were working as a food broker maybe back then. I forget, a long time ago. Right. But I remember going to the bank, and I remember you and I talking. I don't know if you remember this or not.
Okay.
But we said we can save 20. I don't know why this sticks in my mind. But we opened up a savings account, like a passbook savings account, and we saved $25 a week. We were trying to save $25 a week.
Right.
Which was kind of a stretch because we weren't making that much money. But I remember we of course we put our money in the bank, which is the worst place to put it, because no one ever told us there were vehicles that you could actually, even if you just had a little money, maybe a little more than $25 a week back then, but still, back then, that's 30 something years ago. So that probably would be okay in today's dollars. But they didn't tell us what to do exactly with it. So just put it in a bank.
Well, no one's going to tell you what to do when you're making the money we were making.
Well,
I mean, you're not going to get an advisor when you're making less than $30,000 a year together. Maybe $40,000 a year we were making at the time.
I think it was a little more than that.
Maybe. Okay, but still,
maybe 40.
Yeah, like we talked about before, unless you have $500,000 or $250,000 liquid assets to invest in something, you're not going to get that call.
Yeah.
So, and again, I mean, I think one of the great reasons why you wrote this book.
It would have been nice, like someone in college or high school said, "Hey, do this."
It would have been nice.
Can you imagine with that money if we had saved $25 a week starting back then?
Right.
That's 5 years ago.
Right.
And then even just stuck with $25 a week, $100 a month
with compound interest.
Money that would be?
With compound interest, you don't need to do much more than $25.
Amount of money. That would be probably over $1 million.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
$1 million.
But also too, the vehicles that are available now are getting better and better. The financial industry is more competitive every year. They're coming out with better products. The product we're going to talk about today, I hope, wasn't around back then.
Right.
So so we could have done CD. We could have done something better than putting it in a bank. But I just want to make sure everybody is aware of that difference. And savings and reinvesting in your business is not paying yourself first.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm proud of what we're doing with the How Money Works book. I mean, not to get too far off the subject, but we're working with families all over the country with this How Money Works book that some of the people have money, but most of them are middle class Americans that don't have a ton of money that the big financial firms will never call unless you, like you said, and it really now it's more like $1 million. Now, if you have $500,000, this is not an equity in your house. This is money that's doing something that doesn't even affect your lifestyle.
Right.
So at least $500,000 before they even will open the door and talk to you. Half the firms don't even pay commissions on that kind of money anymore. Right. So because they don't want their people the advisors to be courting the less rich, let's say in that case. So unless you got that kind of cash, if you're 99% or say 98% of Americans, you don't have that kind of cash, and they're never going to call you. No. And that's why our firm, How Money Works, is we're out there talking to the average American, and we're helping them invest mostly small amounts of money. But if they let that money grow, like if we would have done that, that would have been an insane amount of money for us, and that we didn't really have to invest too much. So you make a very good point, because really I didn't understand that back then when they say pay yourself for. I thought, well, okay, we got paid, now we got to pay our bills.
Right.
But it's not. It's investing and saving.
Right. And I thought it was to reinvest in your business. So you just have to be clear on those are totally different things. Well, start now. Well,
it's one thing when you're flush. It's another thing, that's something different. But when you're not, you go, well, geez, we got credit card bills. So shouldn't we? Doesn't it make more sense to pay off the credit card at 17% or 20% than it is to invest in something? And the answer is technically, mathematically, yes, but psychologically, emotionally, no. Because you don't get in the habit of saving. The worst thing you can do is wait. I don't care how little money you're making, because of the time value of money. And that's what we're really talking about. Money needs time to grow, even if it's a small amount. It's insane what can happen through compound interest, through that magic of compound interest. So save regularly is number 2. Start now. Don't wait. The rich don't wait. That's one thing the rich don't do about money. They do not wait. They do not procrastinate. And it's interesting because we were talking about a company. We teach companies. We go into companies and teach them, on the How Money Works book, and we do a 1-hour class, and then we do private reviews with them. Right. And we do this all over the country in all 50 states, and then we help them take action. And so we had a company with roughly 300 employees that contacted us about a month ago, said, oh, we want to train our people. And because we really believe in financial education, we want to help our people and all that. And then they said, exactly how do you guys get paid? And we said, well, we give the books away for free, and we teach a class for free. We do everything for free, all the consultations for free, all the advice is for free. But when they take action, we connect them to a financial product. Then the financial company comes in, not the client. Not your employee. The financial company comes in and pays us a commission. Doesn't cost the client anything. Doesn't cost the company anything. And they said, whoa, we don't want you to teach anymore because we don't want to take responsibility for any financial products. And they just started backpedaling. And it's too bad, because what will happen, because we know this, the statistics show this, and it's shown this for, 100 years of financial statistics in this country show that most people, no matter how much they learn about money will never take action unless they're rich people that have advisors who are saying you need to do this. Trust me. Right. Well, if you're rich, you have an advisor. If you're not rich, you probably don't have an advisor. And so this is what we're trying to do. And if we can help you, by the way, let us know. Email Dawn at how to get what's the best
Dawn
way?
at howmoneyworks.com. Dawn at howmoneyworks.com. And I will say we'll work with anyone because we have a lot of rich friends we've worked with. But I think the average person that not average, but the most common
in terms of socioeconomics,
is around 100,000 or less.
Yeah.
So that's
so we're able to help those people, and it's very rewarding because
rewarding.
We wrote that we didn't write this not to do a big commercial on this book, but I just got off on this, but because it really is so important to start now. That's kind of my premise here. But the book was not written for rich people; it was really written for the average person who never learned this in school, and there's us right there. We never learned in school like most people, but you got to take action, and if you don't, and part of taking action, start now. Save regularly every month. Don't let a month go by and go, oh, well, it's been a bad month. The refrigerator broke down or the car broke down or something happened with the house. Save anyway. Continue to put that much. Set it and forget it. That's a bill you have, basically, that investment you're making, even if it's $25 a week or, some small amount. If you let that money grow for 10, 15, 20, 30 years, you won't even believe how much money it comes out to be. And if you don't let it grow, you're losing the magic of compound interest. That's what rich people do. I mean, that's what they do every day. And unfortunately, they're not the rest of us, mere mortals in terms of money. We don't get the rich people helping, the rich advisors, helping us. I remember when we first started making, some serious money. Then all of a sudden, every advisor in the world, every investment firm in the world is knocking our door down. And we're like, where were you 2 years ago when we didn't have anything? Now that we have all this money, it's like, oh, yeah, we want to work with your money. We want to help you. It's like, yeah, where were you before? You didn't want to help me before.
Right.
It's amazing how you make a few bucks and everyone's knocking your door down. And we're proud that we're working with people that aren't in that. Anyway, not to do a commercial. But so Save Regular is number 2 on the time value of money in the book, the How Money Works book. And number 3, it. This is the hardest one. You got to be patient. You got to let it grow. You can't pull it out and buy a Corvette. You can't pull it out.
That word is not even in my vocabulary.
It's tough, right?
It's really hard to be patient.
Hard.
It's really, really hard.
It's like me being patient married to you. It's like me being so patient like a monk.
Okay.
Like a monk.
Yeah.
Like a monk, I think, with you.
Yeah, you know what? I used
with
to be.
With all your different idiosyncrasies I've had to put up with 38 years.
I used to have patience, and now I don't anymore. No, it's from being married to you.
Yeah.
You have to be patient. Although I will say, if you do put your money in a vehicle, you save regularly, you start now, it does get kind of fun watching that number go up.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
So it is easier to be patient when you've gone for a couple of years and you're getting your statements from whatever carrier you're using, and you start seeing that number go up, you get kind of, addicted to being patient.
Yeah.
So you just have to go over that little hump. It's like going on a diet. Get past the first 21 days, or when you stop smoking, or whatever habit you have, get in the habit of saving, and that is so rewarding. You just have to get over that little bump and be patient.
Yeah, there's a product out that we recommend all the time, and not to get real specific about products, but it's called an Index Universal Life product, or short for it's IUL for short, and it's a phenomenal product. We won't get into the details. We probably do a show on a show on that product.
Yes,
because it's kind of a product for the masses. It's for rich people as well and rich corporations, but it's something you don't have to have tons of money to get into. And it's basically an insurance contract that you can overfund. In other words, invest more money per month than the cost of life insurance. But because it's contained in a life insurance contract,
right,
the IRS can't touch it. It's tax-free. It grows tax-free, and it's distributed or comes out tax-free. And if you let it grow for a period of years, it's amazing. And this is a fairly new product, and probably the last 10 years or so. And we bought a couple of them, maybe 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, something like that. And every time I see the statement comes every month, with the overfunded part of the insurance contract, because it's not being taxed. And it's never going to be taxed, the growth. I can't believe the number. And we don't invest that. It's not that much money, really, we invested. But we don't think about it. I never think about it, do you?
No, but
it just grows and grows and grows with compound interest.
There's so many benefits of an IUL. I mean, there's no market risk, and it's protected. But I think the biggest problem that we're all going to be facing in the next 10 to 20 years when it comes to finance will be taxes. And if you can find anywhere that you can put your money that's not going to be taxed, that will grow with the market and not be taxed, that is going to be, because you know what, you guys, right now we're at the all-time lowest tax in the history, well, in the last 100 years of paying income tax.
It's a long time.
I mean, after World War II, taxes went up for the highest tax bracket over 90%.
That was insane.
Now, I don't think it's going to go that high again.
Right.
But right now, we're seeing an all-time low with taxes.
With the $30 trillion
tax
deficit,
bracket, well,
you don't know.
with the
no telling.
With inflation going up, with the state of the government, the debt that the government is in. I mean, y'all, there's no. I mean, we don't have a crystal ball, but I don't think it's going down.
Probably not going down.
So to be able to put your money in a vehicle right now, where you're will probably be the lowest tax bracket you're ever going to be in, is down the road is going to be so beneficial. And I like it how we were all sold 401ks with the idea in the 80s and 90s that when you retire, you're going to be at a lower tax bracket. So now you're going to pay taxes because, as y'all know, in most 401ks, IRAs, traditional IRAs, you're going to pay taxes on that money when you have to start taking distribution. Yeah. And I always thought, I don't want to be 71 or 72 at a low tax bracket.
Yeah.
I mean, we're entrepreneurs.
More money.
Hopefully, we're at the highest tax bracket, and that would be a worry. But I think paying taxes on our retirement money will be the number one problem we're all going to be facing. Whether you're baby boomers, you're in your 30s, you poor people in your 20s, because by the time y'all get to be 70, it's going to be scary.
Well,
if you don't do something now,
it'll resolve itself. But certainly one thing you can count on: the government is going to want more of our money all the time. And I don't care, all the political polarization. It's just so crazy. But they're all nuts. I mean, they all. I think that I'm just kind of tired of the whole thing. Probably like a lot of people in this country right now. It's just I don't even want to have I used to love to talk about politics. I used to love it. And I don't enjoy it at all anymore because it's so polarized.
Right.
And it's just crazy. But the bottom line is, neither if you're left, right, or center, they all want our money because they produce nothing, and they're going to want more of it, and they find little streaky, sneaky ways to get our money, whether it's sales taxes or income taxes or whatever it is, which is probably why so many people are migrating from the tax states to the non-tax states like Florida and Texas, and
especially if you're an entrepreneur.
The thing is, we lived in Palm Beach, Florida for so many years, Boynton Beach, South Palm Beach County, and I mean, they don't have a state income tax, but they kill you on property tax.
Oh, you're going to pay.
They get their money, you guys, one way or another.
You're either paying income tax, sales tax, or property tax.
Texas is the same way. You're going to get nailed one way or
You're not getting away with anything.
Yeah, well, we live in Georgia and there's state tax here, but the property taxes are much less here. Can you imagine paying property taxes on the mansion?
No.
It'd be, Florida, if it was in Florida, it'd be unbelievable, 3 times as much.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So they're going to get their money. But so the bottom line is, how do you take your money? I don't care if it's a small amount or a big amount. That makes no difference. And in the book we talk about, the How Money Works book, we talk about there's 3 ways you can pay tax. Tax now, where you pay the tax right away on a product or a service or anything. And tax later, so deferred tax. And the best one, our favorite, tax never. And that's what it does in insurance contracts. When you put money and you stick money in an insurance contract, it grows tax never. The growth is tax never, and it's taxed, and it comes out tax free.
But you got to be patient.
You got to be patient. If you let me say this, because we say this in the classes and companies all the time, that if you have a financial person that you're working with, get a copy of the How Money Works book and circle the page, circle the part where it says tax never. We tell people all the time to tell people to do this all the time. And then take that to your advisor and say, this is what I want, tax never. I want accounts with tax never.
Yep.
Because we all have these taxable accounts. And you have to ask for it sometimes, because sometimes they won't get. We help clients every day do this, and people say, "Well, I don't have that much money." You don't need that much money.
No.
It just depends on strategy. It's more about having strategy, good strategy. That's why you see, and you've heard these stories, and everyone probably listening has heard these stories where the janitor, the guy that was the janitor for 40 years, and I know actually a couple people. I have a friend whose dad was a janitor, and he retired and he died it was almost as soon as he retired, which was sad. But he came out with millions of dollars.
Yeah, you can do it.
And you think, well, janitors don't make much money. Well, maybe not. But if they are strategic about it and they're smart, and it has the time value of money kicks in, the compound interest, you don't have to make a ton of money to retire with a lot of money. Isn't that crazy?
Nope.
It's so powerful.
No, it's not crazy. It's a system. It's step by step.
Yeah.
It's really not crazy. You can do it. Everyone can do it.
Everyone can do it, but you have to start now.
You just got to be.
You can't wait.
Yeah.
And that's the problem in this country is we all love to spend money. It's it's easy to do, a lot of fun to do. But you've got to, and you can spend money, but you got to have some money that's allocated. We always say, set it and forget it. Just put it in there. It's like a bill. It's like putting gas in your car or buying groceries or anything like paying rent or mortgage or whatever. You just set it and forget it. And that money is just, that's part of your bills, and you'll be very happy in 10, 15, 20 years as that money grows exponentially through the power of compound interest.
That's right.
Anything else on the time value of money before we break?
No, I just, again, don't get confused when people, we always heard pay yourself first. Paying yourself first is putting money aside in a separate account, not your savings account, not reinvesting in the business, putting money aside for retirement, let it grow, be regular, and just be patient. Because again, it's just, you have to go over that little hump. And once you start seeing that money growing with compound interest annually, it's crazy. You'll get addicted to it, and you want to put more in it. So.
Yeah, definitely. Some definitely think about it. Again, if we can help you, email Dawn@howmoneyworks.com. If you have an advisor, get with them, read this book, and then take some of these ideas to them and say, hey, I want to do some of these things, because there's some pretty good little strategies. So,
all right.
Thanks for watching the show. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.